Hi, everybody, and welcome to City Beat. I am your host, Nancy Byrne, and we are coming to you from the KCLV TV studios. Now, I'm not wearing a mask because this area of City Hall has no public access, and my photographer, Steve Horlock, and I are at least 6 feet apart at all times. As of November 15th, the City of Las Vegas has a brand new city manager, Jorge Cervantes. After more than 20 years with the city, our former city manager, Scott Adams, retired. Now, we're going to show you a video dedicated to his service to the city just a little bit later on. But first, we want to help you get to know Jorge. He may be new as the city manager, but he is not new to the city of Las Vegas. He came here 22 years ago when, as an engineer in El Paso, Texas, he received a call from a friend saying the city was hiring. He thought he'd give us a try, and fortunately for us, he stayed. The city of Las Vegas made it through the Great Recession about a decade ago and was flying high, with new properties going up, major infrastructure projects finishing up, and a downtown that was sprucing up in every direction. Then March 2020, the coronavirus pandemic hit, putting a screeching halt to our world. You might wonder who would want to step into a top city position to help us get back up on our feet.
Do you solemnly swear that you will support, protect, and defend the Constitution and government of the United States?
Well, meet Jorge Cervantes, the new city manager for the city of Las Vegas. We had a chance to sit down with him at a safe distance and listened as he told us he's up to the task.
It is a challenging time, but challenging times also bring opportunities.
Cervantes spoke of how, as a city, we weathered the Great Recession not so long ago, and how he believes we will weather this challenge as well.
Just prior to the pandemic, we were doing really good as a community. Our economy was doing well, jobs were going well, everything was going well. And the pandemic kind of put a hold on that. And so I think as we're trying to get through this, and hopefully a vaccine comes out soon and helps us get further ahead, then I think we got a great opportunity to really just start prospering and taking off. We were negotiating several deals for big developments that were coming downtown other places, and those got put on hold. And my thought is as we come out, we can get those conversations going again, and people are waiting to start up again.
It's not only COVID-19 that needs to be tackled. We are living in a country where divisiveness is more pronounced than ever. But Cervantes' philosophy is you can always find common ground if you look for it and listen to all sides.
So from my perspective, my focus is going to be what are those things that we agree on and we have the ability to move forward, and let's focus on that. And those areas where we have disagreement, let's see if there's that common ground, because a lot of times it's just a matter of having conversation and being able to step back and listen to the other person and see their perspective, and then say, well, I agree with some of what you're saying, maybe not all, but I agree with some of it. And so there's the opportunity to find that common ground, I think, to move forward. And those areas where we can't find common ground, then we probably just put those aside and really focus on what we can get done.
His vision for our future, immediate and long term, includes making sure as a city we continue to meet citizens' needs. He cited the quick launch of the Customer Care Center, a call center where people could turn with questions or concerns they are facing due to the pandemic, and the resiliency of city staff who stepped out of their regular jobs and stepped up, like those who normally sit at a desk, rolling up their sleeves and keeping our parks clean for residents badly needing open space.
I think to make sure that our organization continues to be nimble, continues to be resilient, because when this pandemic hit, we had to do some big shifts. We had to pull resources from one area to put another area to help the community get through this. And so as we transition through this, we're still going to have some up and downs before we get out of this pandemic. I need to be able to have the ability that we can still shift and put assistance where the community needs us the most.
Next, he wants to get people back to work.
We need to figure out how we continue to help businesses open as much as they can. Because unless people are back working, they can't take care of their families. And so as long as we're within the guidelines of the governor, we need to help every business to be able to prosper and open up to get people back working again.
And once we navigate these currently rough waters, making sure we are fiscally stable.
Our economy's been hit very hard. The private sector's been very hard. But it also impacts us as a public sector because our revenue comes from sales tax. With no consumption, there's no revenue coming into the city yet. We need to continue to provide public safety. We need fire folks to be able to respond to fires. We need police to be able to respond to incidents. We need to maintain our critical infrastructure. So we need to make sure we're physically stable. So over the last 6 to 12 months, I think my focus is just on those 3 things. Longer term, get us back to where we're a prosperous community again, where the quality of life is good here, And that's longer term what we're going to do.
Cervantes says these are not easy times, but he's seen over and over that city leaders and the staff is up to the task. We're deep in one of our biggest challenges right now, and our resiliency hasn't wavered. It's meeting it head on.
We started off by asking for volunteers, and you'd be surprised, but I'll do it. I'm used to working in an office, but if I'm going to go out there and clean a park and it helps our community, I'm there. And so our folks just volunteered. And it wasn't where we had to force people to do it. The majority, we want to help the community out. So our folks are very resilient. They adjust, they adapt, and they do it willingly because they're here to serve the community, and they do it willingly.
Congratulations, Jorge Cervantes, city engineer 22 years ago, then director of public works, then chief operations development officer before being named our city manager. Well, as we mentioned, Scott Adams, our former city manager, retired after 16 years with the city, 3 of those years as our city manager. Here is the video we presented to him at his final city council meeting.
My first day, we were in the old City Hall on Stewart, and they hadn't given me a parking space. So I had to go park in the garage that connected with the second level walkway across the street. And that garage only took quarters. So there's a little story here. And so I thought, oh wow, I didn't have any quarters. So I went down, there's a sign that said change machine down on the first floor. So I went down to the first floor and the change machine was broken. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be late to work. My first day on the job, I'm going to be late to work. So I didn't know what to do. So I thought, well, I'll go to a casino. And there happened to be, the Lady Luck was open. It's fairly close to that City Hall. So I walked over to the Lady Luck, went to a cashier and got $8 or like $10 worth of quarters and just came back and fed the meter and then went into work. So that was my first day on the job. I do.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
We are so thrilled. Here, and also access to present to you for ratification Kathy Thomas Gibson as our new Director of Community Services. I was hired as the Business Development Director to run that department in the redevelopment agency with a focus on downtown redevelopment. So that's really what I came in for, and it was a lot of fun. I've been involved in virtually everything that's happened downtown in the last 16 years, and we've made completely noticeable, significant change over that time in downtown. Downtown is a completely different place. It's a place of pride of our residents now. You could go 10, 12 years ago and everybody was looking down at downtown. Now it is the hot place to be. Everybody wants to come downtown. People are living downtown. We made a huge change there, and it's been for the good. And I think there's any legacy that I feel good about, that's it. Rebuilding downtown.
Wrapped it up.
Mr. Craig Stride is here today. I was really involved in the budget process in the Great Recession. I remember saying then, well, we'll never see another one of these again. And lo and behold, 10 years later, we have this pandemic, which actually hit us financially harder than the Great Recession did. The city was experiencing its worst financial crisis in its history. We had the whole issue in mid-March of having to shut everything down, which is, it's almost surreal that you would think you have to shut down a whole city. Sometimes a crisis brings the best out in us, it gets us out of our own way, and it ends up permanently changing our business practices. Giving you one example is our customer care center. We had talked about doing that. We'd done the analytics on it, realized that there could be some real merit in doing it, but we were kind of agonizing over when to do it and how to do it. Well, bam, here comes the pandemic. There was no way to serve our customers other than through some vehicle like that. So it quickly created the impetus for putting that together. And literally, due to a number of folks' hard work, in particular Michael Sherwood's, stood that up in 48 hours. And a number of these things that were innovative, we just did them, didn't worry about the consequences. Now, the flip side of that is they're so good that they've become a permanent way of doing business. Lunch. Working for the city has been absolutely fantastic, working with all the wonderful people here. I think the thing that impressed me the most when I came to work for the city was how professional everybody was. I had never experienced the level of professionalism anywhere else I've worked like I did here.
And at the last city council. Good morning, Madam Mayor, members.
This is going to be where I live for the rest of my life. So I love it in this place. I can eat anywhere in the world by going to any casino. I can shop anywhere in the world by going to like umpteen malls. It's just a quality of life here that you can't get anywhere else. I really want to thank those that were involved in hiring me, especially on council, and then the council that hired me as city manager. I got an opportunity to end my career on a high note by being the city manager of one of the most highly recognized cities in America. So that was a lot of fun, and I can't think of a better way to cap a 44-year career than being the city manager of one of the greatest cities in the United States and maybe in the world. So I started when I was 21, and I'm going to be 65, and it's time.
Once again, thank you so much to Scott Adams for your service to the city, and we wish you a very happy and well-deserved retirement. Well, a few months ago, right here on City Beat, we stood over on Las Vegas Boulevard next to the Strat to talk about a major road improvement project. It includes wider sidewalks, landscaping, some infrastructure underneath the roadway, and a highly anticipated archway structure welcoming people to fabulous downtown. Well, it's completed, and now you can see it illuminated every night at dusk. Here's a look from every angle. Here are a few fun facts about the arches. Each one of those legs weighs more than 18,000 pounds. There are more than 13,000 lights on it, and it is 80 feet tall. You can find out more about the arches and other iconic signs across Las Vegas on the next Hello Mayor show in mid-December. Check KCLV.TV for more information and our program guide. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, another art structure, not as large, but certainly impressive.
Separate raw meats from other foods by using different cutting boards. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes, and you can do it here. So what are you waiting for? Just go to the site.
Welcome back to City Beat from inside the KCLV TV studios. There's an area of downtown around 3rd and Gas Avenue that recently got a facelift. A new street improvement project not only included improved streets and sidewalks and new lighting and landscaping, it also includes a new outdoor art project. It was recently unveiled. It's called Atomic Tumbleweed, a 5-foot-tall sculpture made of metal that reflects color and light and casts shadows that change as the light changes. It was unveiled November 5th at a special ceremony attended by city leaders and the neighbors who will now enjoy this as part of their landscape.
This site-sensitive contemporary artwork celebrates the mid-century flavor of Las Vegas, an evolving cosmopolitan city. The 5-foot sculpture, consisting of 5 spiraling stainless steel rings, was directly influenced by the surrounding environment. Atomic Tumbleweed combines forms such as the atomic symbol, celestial sphere, and gyroscope.
This $110,000 sculpture is part of a larger $19.6 million street improvement project. The city of Las Vegas communicated with the neighbors and businesses near this intersection of 3rd Street and Gas Avenue and found out what they wanted in their improvements, then did what they could to follow those wants and needs, giving this area of downtown a refreshed look and making it more walkable. Councilwoman Olivia Diaz represents this part of the city.
We know that in order to truly be a world-class city, we must ensure that the arts and culture continue to thrive and are a bedrock in our city.
Of course, you can't unveil a beautiful piece of art without the artists there to share in the big reveal.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wayne Littlejohn says public art is very special to him because it enables him to connect with the people who will enjoy it every day.
It really gives you a sense of how expansive it is in terms of the way it touches the community. And you work with a lot of small businesses and a lot of people are involved in it. And it's really very much a community project.
Littlejohn is a professor of fine arts at the College of Southern Nevada. Now, he has art displayed across the globe, Japan, Canada, Sweden, even in Austria. We thank him for gracing our sidewalk with his work. Well, if you ever have work that you need to do with development services, you no longer will report to 333 North Rancho. You'll come right here to City Hall. With so many of those services going online, it just made more sense financially and for the convenience of customers to move it all to one floor of City Hall. So this is where you come now. Here's everything you need to know. Reset your GPS if you need something such as building permits, business licenses, or planning and zoning services. You will no longer go to 333 North Rancho Drive. You'll come to City Hall at 495 South Main Street. We sat down with Tom Perigo at a socially safe distance. He says the move has been discussed for a while, but the pandemic made the timing just right.
And so we've always looked at, can we be more efficient, better serve our customers, reduce costs to the taxpayer by moving that function back to City Hall or some other buildings. So when COVID hit and we were facing dramatic declines in revenues, we took action and decided now is the time to serve our customers better and to save taxpayer dollars.
Perigo says in this world of online and virtual services, the old DSC was starting to see a drop in clients visiting in person.
The last couple of years, we've really made a big push to transition most of our services online. So our business license customers, our building department customers getting building permits, our planning customers looking at entitlements, most of that can be done online. In fact, all of it can be. So really, it was the perfect time to transition to another building where we serve our customers mostly online, but we still have the capacity for the folks who still have questions.
This move will have no effect on online services.
We are doing everything we can and working extremely hard, putting in a lot of hours to make sure that the move is completely seamless. The only difference is where you'll come if you want to come and talk to someone. Now you'll just come to City Hall instead of the old building on Rancho.
Something else prompted by the pandemic was the city setting up the Customer Care Center. It not only turned out to be a great resource during the COVID-19 spread, it's available for all types of information.
So now if you have any questions about a business license, what you can do with your property, any of that kind of stuff, call 229-CARE and you will be directed to a subject matter expert who will serve you immediately.
But if you find you simply need to speak to a person in person,
if you're still not sure who to call or you can't get the answers online, come on down to City Hall, right into the first floor lobby, and we will have somebody there to meet you and take care of whatever your needs are.
Now, if you do need to come to City Hall for any reason, actually, you're going to need to meet the COVID protocols and wear a face covering. The same holds true if you have any cash transactions you need to make. By the way, that's done on the first floor of the city parking garage, right across from City Hall at the Customer Care Center, 500 South Main Street. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we pay homage to our veterans by taking you to a beautiful memorial park.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Our family is no less than any other family.
My heart doesn't see race.
Love is love.
Welcome back to City Beat from inside the KCLV TV studios. You know, every year our nation pauses on November 11th to honor our veterans, but we can honor our veterans, our active military, and those who gave the ultimate sacrifice every day of every year. In that vein, I want to share with you a conversation I had with two young ladies who are leading the charge to take care of our veterans and their families, physically and emotionally. Angela Henderson is with the City of Las Vegas, and Kim Donahue manages the suicide prevention program for the state of Nevada. Here's part of that conversation.
We enhance the resources and services that they're already providing to our local veterans and their families, but we also have ongoing outreach programs to bring them together, the veterans groups and the nonprofit organizations, into our collaborative. For example, this past Saturday, we took part of a Veterans Expo down in Henderson, and so many of our collaborative partners were there that when a veteran came up to my booth and was speaking to me about the issues he was having, I was able to walk him directly down to the Nevada Department of Veterans Services booth and introduce him to the gentleman that could get him the services that he needed and the help he needed. These warm handoffs are one of the main reasons that our collaborative is so successful and so vital to getting the veterans and their family members the help they need the first time they ask. We don't want them to have to keep looking at different websites and pages and things like that. We want to be able to direct them to the people that can get them the help the first time. So
that's such a good point. You don't want people to get frustrated and walk away from resources that are right there to help them. So that immediate connection is great. And Kim, basically the same thing to you. The state provides a number of great programs and services. Can you talk more about how our veterans can take advantage of those and their families?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that opportunity, because really that is so important, is connecting our community with the important, not only state, but also federal benefits. So that is one of the services and programs that our department is so great and so fortunate is across our state, we are able to help successfully connect our community members with state and federal benefits that they have available to them. We also provide quality, skilled nursing care. We have a brand new facility up here in the north. And then we also have a assisted skilled nursing facility down in southern Nevada. We also provide dignified burial support. We've got cemeteries both in the north and south as well. We also manage programs. We've got several programs where we are, as Angela mentioned, we try to connect our community. We have at-risk populations. So we have programs where those who may be experiencing homelessness or are chronically homeless, we have programs that would connect our veterans to important services. as well as our LGBTQ community. It's just so important to get them, as Angela said again, to the correct person the first time. We also work with our incarcerated veterans and connecting them with important services. So when they're ready, they can help transition into successful and sustainable on the outside.
I want to thank both of them for their work. You can get more information, of course, by going to lasvegasnevada.gov/veterans or veterans.nv.gov. Not everyone knows this, but one of the most beautiful war monuments is right here in Las Vegas. It's located on the grounds of the Grant Sawyer State Building. It's 2 acres. 18 larger-than-life statues. It's the Nevada State Memorial. Steve Horlock gives us a closer look at these statues that honor our veterans all the way from the Revolutionary War to the War on Terror. Thank you, Steve Horlock, for that beautiful photo essay. So it's fitting that we close by showing you a flyover by our home heroes, the Thunderbirds, as they took to the skies over Las Vegas November 2nd. Thanks for joining us for this City Beat, and we will see you next time around.